Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to the Life Doula Podcast, where we explore life's transformative journeys and the incredible stories of resilience and rebirth. I'm your host, Charity Marohombsar, and today we have a truly inspiring episode for you. Our guest today embodies the true spirit of reinvention and resilience. Joining us is my dear friend, Krysta Rivera, a remarkable life coach specializing in wellness, a tech specialist, an expert at holding sacred spaces, and if I may say, as of today, an author of her own book. So, Krysta recently faced a life altering moment with a pre-cancer diagnosis. Despite the challenges, she's reimagined her path with remarkable strength and grace. I'm very honored that in today's episode, Life Reimagined, Thriving After a Pre-Cancer Diagnosis, we will delve into Krysta's journey. We'll explore her life before diagnosis, the emotional and mental hurdles she encountered, and how she's embraced her role as a wellness advocate all throughout, turning her personal challenges into powerful source of inspiration for others. We'll also talk about the nuances of maintaining personal wellness while facing health adversities and how she holds space continuously for others through her profound and transformative experiences. So grab your favorite snack. And because Krysta is around, I say grab a healthy snack. Find your most comfortable chair and prepare to be inspired by a story of courage, rebirth. Krysta, welcome to the Life Doula Podcast.
Thank you, Cha, for having me. And I'm really so honored to be with you today and seeing you in real life after 2 years of just being in Zoom.
Yes.
And congratulations. I'm really so inspired by your journey here. Being in your Better Days Wellbeing Center, I really love the space. It's so beautiful.
Krysta knows that this center was a dream 2 years ago. And when we were in the same coach certification space, we shared what we wanted to do in this world. So she knows that this is a dream and now it's a reality. So I'm so honored that she's also here to be with me in this journey. But more than anything, I am very grateful because this experience is very new. And I know that you really tried to manage who knew about it. And as in any journey, you made sure you were ready. And I'm so grateful that you agreed to do this with me.
Yes, thank you, Cha. Actually, I haven't really talked about it as much publicly. And you know this because even though I'm in social media, I'm really a private person.
Yes.
Like, I just show that side of me, that kikai side of me, right? Like the social media person who's like actively posting about my well-being, about my workouts, but I never talk about my pains. Right? And I think this is the first time I'm gonna publicly talk about my journey, and I'm really honored to be doing it in your podcast.
So Krysta and I were together in one of the events of a dear friend. And I know that she went on social media for the first time. And all of us actually were surprised. But being in the safe space, we truly understand readiness and timing of what you want to share. And because we're trained to hold space for other people, we're also trained to be patient, to wait for our friends to reach out. And when she was ready, I was one of the, what's going on? Because she's always parang shown, as she said, her side of the story as in her wellness. She's such a, health buff. And that's what she shares on social media. So when I reached out to her over the weekend and asked her, are you willing to inspire other people with your story? I felt it was also the right time for her. Otherwise, if she said no, I would have respected it. But I'm so glad that she said yes, because I always say this. In our journey, our own experience and our own stories, when we share, becomes other people's survival guide. So I hope that when you hear her story, you will also get inspired. Let's start with the life before the pre-cancer diagnosis. I'll really emphasize pre-cancer diagnosis. Again, words have power. So we claim to continuously say it's pre-cancer diagnosis. How did your background as a tech specialist and wellness coach shape and converge your lifestyle before the diagnosis?
Right. So I think these are two very dynamic industries, right? Like tech is always evolving. Wellness is always evolving. You always grow as a person, right? So I believe that those two things really strike the dynamicism of who I am, right? And I just don't stay stuck in one place, right? So before,
That's literally
yes.
and figuratively.
Me.
She keeps moving. Okay.
Keep moving, keep flying. So I think practically the last 2 years have been a journey for me altogether. You know this, you are a witness. So Charity was my coach at the time when I was moving and uprooting my life from Philippines to Singapore. So she really helped me thrive and survive those 2 years. But I practically lived on a plane, I think, on the past the past 2 years. So I've been traveling from here to Singapore. Every 2 weeks, I'm here and then Singapore. But at the same time, I was managing my life as a mom, right? Like managing my daughter who was in Philippines at that time remotely. So it's like really living two lives. But I really managed to survive the last 2 years because I had my workout, I had my meditation practice, and I had my grounding practice in terms of doing self-love. And I felt that I could only serve my clients and my customers, my peers, and my other fellow coaches if I could fill my own cup. So I did all the filling, like,
You did all the inner work.
the inner work, and so I could give from my overflow. So that's always been our mantra.
You know, as you are relaying all this, I'm reliving the images of your life like flashing in front of me. And when you said that, tech is such a space where a lot of developments are happening like almost every hour, not anymore months or days, right? And the wellness space is also ever evolving. Like there are now home gyms that can be done, parang no reason for you not to move. I think these are common threads of your life pre the cancerous diagnosis, right? You and I have journeyed, and looking back, parang all of the things that you did in the past prepared you for a moment like this.
Right.
Diba? Parang your inner work, Krysta and I were such junkies during the pandemic. We would meet on Zoom every week. And parang it's enough. We would create spaces where we continuously meet every week during the pandemic. Pero yun na yung I woke up like this space niya. Lahat kami parang we looked like, ay ano ba yan, nakapambahay. But Krysta, when she turns on the video of her Zoom, talagang lahat kami parang, oh my God, magsusuklay nga ako. So self-care is such a vital space in your life. Parang it's almost embedded in your life. What were your go-to wellness practices or routines that you regularly followed prior to your diagnosis?
I always start with the moment I open my eyes. I don't go to my phone to check social media although although that's like most of us do that, right? But the first thing I do is I meditate in the morning. That's my first 15 minutes of my day. I set the intention how I want the day to lead, right? And yeah, I always start with a meditation, and then if I have time, now I've shifted. Like I try to cook a healthy meal in the morning. But my first go-to before was the celery juicing that we used to do, like celery juicing, and then I cook my first meal, egg white, toast, that's it. And then coffee, egg white and toast. And then I normally start my day with like a quick like walk or workout. If I can't, then I do that towards the end of the day. But yeah, I really start with just filling my mind and my heart with how I want the day to be, and just slowing down, right? And then I go to work, and then I try to do my workout towards the end of the day. But it's really like setting an intention for me the start of the day, and then putting myself at ease with a workout. If I had a very rough day or if I had a good day, no matter what kind of day it is, I work out. And Charity knows this.
Yep. And parang kami, we just, enjoy her workouts. Oh, she's wearing a nicer workout outfit, no? Kami hanggang workout outfit lang. Krysta, you and I have done a lot of inner work together.
Yes. Yeah.
And when we met, that's actually the space that we are in, that we were in.
Yeah.
We were both sacred space holders. Shout out to our life coach, Kimi Lou.
Yes.
Other than personal growth and development, which were really drivers for you and for me to continuously do the inner work. I'm going to go into something personal.
Okay.
And you can share as much or as little that
Yes.
you feel at ease with. Were there deeper traumas that you wanted to heal from?
Well, when pre-cancer happened, diba? Like maybe just a backstory of how it went. I think I just did kasi parang the company had like a benefit, like annual physical exam benefit that I had to use by February last.
So it was
this
really
year.
routine.
Yeah, routine lang. Like $600 in Singapore. Sayang naman. Like I felt, oh, if I don't use it, then it goes to waste, right? So I had to use it in February, $600. And then I just went on like a physical exam. And then the doctor was saying, oh, if you want, like we can also do a swab, right? Like for pap smear and for an HPV swab.
Yeah.
And then I said yes because sayang eh. Like I just felt it's a waste if I don't use it.
really for you.
Yes.
Right?
So I used to do it in the Philippines every year. I skipped the year before that because I didn't have time. But this year I said, okay, I will use the benefit. So, so I had a swab, and then they asked me to come in right away because they said there's something pressing that you need to know. Yeah. So I said, oh, okay, but I was busy, so we just did it on Zoom. my my reading was only done on Zoom. So the doctor called me on my parang the video conferencing, and then she said you have to come here because you turned positive for HPV. Okay. So I was so shocked. Like, how can this happen? Like I work out every day, I eat healthy. I'm like this is the least of my problems. Like I said, I actually said I won't come for the reading because I know that I'm healthy. Yeah. And then they said to come in because there's like something pressing. Yeah. So there. So it's like, a shocker. Yeah. Like, and I
can understand that feeling because Krysta has always been mindful with what she ate. She made sure that even during the pandemic, in the confines of her condo, she was exercising. Yeah. And really supplements for her. She was juicing every day. Yeah. So I just want to underline the fact that, and this is what I told Krysta, having played in the cancer community space for more than 7 years.
Yeah.
You can tick off all the checklists in your box
Yeah.
for a healthy lifestyle and can still get diagnosed with cancer. It is not, I told her last week, it is not your fault.
Yeah.
Because I have clients who have shared with me, I was at the healthiest
Yes.
when I got diagnosed with cancer. In our previous podcast, you have heard the sharing of Sheila Gagi. She's a triathlete. Years before cancer diagnosis, and she got diagnosed with one of the rarest form of breast cancer.
Right.
And she was also in shock because what happened? I'm exercising every day. So we just want to underline this na you can be living a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
You can only prevent. I take that back. You can only mitigate and lower the risks.
Right.
The prevention, 100% prevention,
Yeah.
is not in our hands,
Yeah.
right? And as Krysta mentioned, the past 2 years, she uprooted herself from the Philippines and stayed on top of everything, the life that she somehow left here because her only daughter was here. And she would shuttle back and forth, not monthly, but sometimes weekly, to make sure that she fulfills her role as a mom, as a sister, and as a daughter. And that itself is traumatic already, right? Thinking about ways to take care of your child and shuttling back and forth. I mean, you see people, you see her on an airplane, but you don't know hours or days leading to the trip.
Yeah.
What you subject yourself, the stress of shuttling back and forth can also be very pressing. And so that's I think one of the things that we want to share with our audience, that you can be healthy, but you can still get diagnosed with cancer. And I say it's not a waste because people continue to live healthier lives. The clients I've met, Sheila continued to run.
Yes.
During her cancer treatment.
Yeah.
But of course, it's not anymore 25 kilometers. It's like 5. And that still helped her body fight. And despite the very rare cancer, she was able to finish her treatment because of her healthy lifestyle.
Right.
So I think that's a plus. That's not a minus.
Yes.
Krysta, you shared with me that at some point you were grappling. You shared with our audience that, no, I'm
was
healthy.
Yeah, I had the 5 stages of grief, I think. The first one was really denial. It's really like saying, no, this cannot be true. Like, but when that happens, you're hit by, no, this is real, right? But I went inside me and said, what could have gone wrong? Like, what went wrong? What's wrong with me? Like, what did I do wrong in this, journey? But I think, like, it was really something deeper, right? Like you said, like the trauma itself. And this charity, right? Like, growing up, I had a very abusive childhood. And then I had an abusive marriage. 7 years of marriage that I got out of through self-help, right? Like, I was diagnosed with a 10 years major depressive disorder. Can you imagine? And I had and I talk about this all the time. I had 2 ICU overdoses, diba? And I was rushed to the ICU twice in a year for drug overdose. And I was doing a lot of depressive medication, diba? Like, but really, life coaching helped me get out of that. Like, my own psychiatrist recommended my life coach at that time because he said, there's nothing I can do. Ano pang gagawin natin? You drank all your medicine. So parang ininom mo na lahat. So there's nothing I can do, 'di ba? Na parang in-overdose mo na yung sarili mo. So he said that nothing can help me. It's all within. So he recommended a life coach to help me, go within me and see where the trauma is happening, right? Like, and I think I got out of that depressive stage because I address what's the source.
Yeah.
And I think it really manifested in my body because I felt I was okay, right?
Yeah.
But physically, physiologically, it's manifesting somewhere else,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And, sacral, we
Yes.
believe about energy, right? Like things about our sacral energy
Yes.
manifest there.
Yes.
I think that's how it all took place. And me not addressing it because of all the busyness of work and the busyness of moving
Yeah.
and me being detached from my daughter, I think that's where it was all coming from.
Yes. Yes.
Right? And this is what we tried to address also with you and me,
Yeah.
with Kirsten, my daughter's trauma, her own trauma as well,
Yes,
of the
yes.
relationship, of the family.
Yes.
We tried to address this because I know that it all stops with me. Like,
Yeah.
it's a generational trauma that
Yes.
I don't want to repeat with my daughter,
Yeah.
right? And it's something that I want to address and stop here.
I say this with all humility that Krista's journey inspires me as a mother because she would really go through hoops and loops for her daughter. That and that she is going through her own healing journey up to now. Traumas don't get fixed overnight. You deal with it every single day and make a decision that you are healing from them. But diseases are really manifestations of emotional, deep-seated issues. Breast cancer are repressed emotions. And to Krista's point earlier, anything that we're storing in the sacral or in this energy center can manifest in reproductive organ cancer. So there are so many causes for cancer, and most of them are not within our control. So, how did your pre-cancer diagnosis affect your identity, your confidence as a wellness advocate and coach? And what emotions did this realization trigger?
At first, it was really shame, diba?
Shame,
Like,
yeah.
I was telling you about this on Saturday that I felt I didn't want to talk about it because I was ashamed that, how hypocritical of me. Like, what an imposter. Like, I had imposter syndrome, diba? Na parang, I talk about well-being, I talk about being fit, about taking care of yourself, but then I got sick.
Yeah.
So, parang that's really, like, hit me so hard because I felt I can't talk about wellness if I can't take care of myself. So parang somehow it's like that. But then I think the why that always, di ba, Kimmy says that, parang why that makes you cry. Always find that in the chaos of things is that the why is that I can talk about this and say to people, I've gone through this and you can also get through this too, right? And like just the early diagnosis, the early detection
Yes.
is really key for you to address certain things. Because if you leave it for later, like it's gonna be much worse, diba?
Yes, yes.
And it's important that you address it very early, even without it being like a stage for cancer, right?
Yes,
Because
yes.
by that time it's too late,
Yes.
diba? And even with our traumas, it's better to address it when you feel it.
Confront it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Na, kasi parang if you leave it to chance or if you push it under the rug, that's
Yes.
when it really becomes bigger. The whisper becomes
A very loud
loud scream. Yes.
Yeah,
So,
yes.
di ba? Parang when you hear the whisper, address it. And I felt that was the whisper to me. Me not addressing the trauma of my child being taken away from me after high school graduation.
Yeah.
And then me trying to shove it down the rug, that was the whisper.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the whisper.
I just want to call out that shame and guilt is really such a destructive mindset, right? But this is really the reality of our society. We were conditioned to be ashamed of many things, right? Decisions that we made when we were young. People around us, unfortunately, are the ones who make us feel that this is something to be shameful about. Like this very example that Krysta continues to show up as a wellness coach. It is not her fault that she was diagnosed with cancer, but as a human being, her default was to believe the saboteur in her head that says, "You're an imposter. How can you claim to be a wellness advocate when you're sick?" Right? But the truth is, there's only so much that we can do, and you have done everything within your control that can possibly lead to something like this or probably another chronic disease. However, the learning that Krysta is sharing with us is this pre-cancer diagnosis is putting a spotlight on some issues that her choice of taking care of the people around her before she takes care of herself is manifesting already. And she decided that from that short blip of denial, she started now putting attention into this, the emotional things that she needs to address. Did you discover any new coping mechanism or support systems that helped you with this challenging time?
I think it was like a call out for me to take some rest. And you
Please share the story to our audience because this is a very important story.
Right.
And before she shares it, this underscores the fact that what we say to ourselves, the universe is really listening.
Exactly.
Right? So share with us, Krysta, that
this
story.
is so funny because, like Charity said, I am addicted to work. Like, I'm so passionate about my work that sometimes I lack sleep, I lack rest. And parang I would joke, even to my bosses na parang, sana I'd get sick so that I could take some rest. Right? Like, so that people won't bother me. And then parang the universe is like really listening because when you say that, like, okay, you wanted that pala ha. Like, you're such a good manifestor.
Grabe.
that it listens to you and then it somehow like, okay, you wanted to rest, I'll give you rest. So, diba?
Don't ever.
Don't
But Krysta, seriously.
yeah.
What we say to
Yes.
ourselves, even if you don't verbalize it,
Yes.
the universe listens.
Correct.
Right? So
yeah.
we need to really catch ourselves, even if it's a joke. Now
Yes.
she's sharing it with us, but at that time it was a real thing, a
Yeah.
conversation that she shares with people. I hope I get sick so I get a time out,
Yes.
no?
Correct.
And look where you landed. Pre-cancer.
Yes.
It's like a nudge
Yes.
just to call your attention.
Correct. So now, like after 4 surgeries, I get to
Four
rest.
surgeries.
I get to rest and parang I was like worried initially because parang I don't have leaves anymore. Like kasi I travel nga like all the time here and to the States. So my leaves, my personal leaves are all used up. So now I get to use my hospitalization leave in a not so good way, but I get to rest. So that
Yes.
was my coping mechanism now. Even if I work out every day, I allot 2 rest days. So,
Wow.
Oo,
May rest day na siya
na ako. Oo, hindi na ako, Saturday and Sunday I rest. So I really give way for my hilata time.
Yeah, not doing anything.
Not doing anything. My day of just resting my body. And I allot more days for me to reflect. Because
That's
if
good.
you're always on the go, like, you can't really do anything to just internalize
Or
and
be mindful, right?
yes.
Right. And I remember even on weekends, Krista would post her workouts, and I'm like, oh my God, here I am, not doing anything, and she's hitting the gym.
Yeah.
That's such a good point
Yeah.
to make. If you don't intentionally pause,
Yeah.
life will do something
Yes.
to make you pause,
Yes.
right? Is it
Exactly.
something that's like more clearer now to you?
Yeah. Yeah. It will hit the brakes for you.
Yes.
Talaga. Like,
It will put like a pothole or a hump.
yes.
In this case, it's a hump. Parang,
Yes.
okay, life called my attention
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
stop and really not do anything. So not doing anything is also a form of healing,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So you have always been part of whatever community I am in.
Yeah.
We've always, overlapped, but I know that you're so grounded with our community. How important was the role of community, whether it's by one person from that community or the whole community,
Right.
in helping you deal with any potential stigma or misunderstanding surrounding your diagnosis?
Yeah, I think what's really important is to have a community that supports you in a safe space, that doesn't judge, that doesn't really ask you to be someone
Yeah.
else, right? So our community, I'm grateful that you just come as you are and you're welcome as you are.
Yes.
Diba? Like, you don't have to pretend to be someone else, and you just bring yourself in there, in the table.
Show up.
And show up. Yeah. So I guess that's the importance of it, is because you don't need to be pretending to be someone else. Come as you are, and all the pains, all the uncertainties, all the impurities or imperfections, you just bring to the table, and that still allows you to be yourself.
Yes.
And that's the imperfect you, diba?
Yeah.
Like, you bring that to the table, and it's the safe space that really allows you to be who you are.
That's such a beautiful thing to say, because I know you know that we were all praying for you, rooting for you. However, we also respected the fact that you were not ready. And I hope you felt the energy and the love, that while people can still love you and support you, even if they don't know the full details of what you're going through. And I think that's one of the power of communities, right? People respect your boundaries. Like when you went out on social media, we actually went to Kimi and say, how open is she? And she told us that, well, at least she told me that just wait for her to reach out. And I knew that when you're ready, you will really talk to us about it. And you showing up in the manifestable was a sign that we took that she's ready to talk about this. But, quiet community supporting is such a beautiful thing, right?
Exactly. And it's like, you really meet me where I am, diba? Like, you don't force people to just, oh, sige na, like, talk about it, please. Like, you have friends like that, right?
Yeah,
Like, friends
yeah.
who are, that they care for you, but they force it out of
Well-meaning.
you. And I don't,
Well-meaning.
yeah, well-meaning. But, sometimes I feel that it's really the space that allows you to meet people where they are.
Yes, true.
And that's where I really value people in our community, because they don't really impose.
Yes. Timing is everything.
Yeah.
Even if you have well-meaning intentions, we really
Yes.
wait
Yeah.
for the person to reach out and ask for help, right? Krista,
Yes.
parang I cannot think of things that will make your life healthier. But what are major lifestyle changes you're planning to do, or that you have started to do because you want to enhance your overall well-being because of this wake-up call?
So I still continue, but now I'm more mindful in terms of what I eat more. Like before, if I I tend to monitor my diet. Now, I try to choose things that are really nourishing my body.
Okay.
So before, kasi my principle is like, as long as I work out, I can eat anything. Di ba? There are people like that. Di ba?
That's a myth that people
Yes.
think na you can eat anything.
Yes.
Or it's like a misconception on the keto diet na
Yes.
you can eat as many fats as you
yes.
want, but just don't eat carbs.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. So it's like, I work out to eat. Ganon. Ganon ako dati. Like, I work out to eat. But now, I work out and I nourish my body with the food that I need to fuel it.
That's
so
good.
it's really food as fuel.
Yeah.
Like, food is not reward.
Okay.
So, sometimes I reward it pa rin. Like, I love croissants. I love chocolate. I love all this. I love coffee. So, but I nourish my body with what it fuels it. So, I choose my food now. But I think more than anything, I still do my meditation. I still do my intention practice, my journaling. But I think what's really key for me is for me to share my journey to people so they can learn.
Yes.
Diba? Like, I still do my growth and all my well-being things, but I want to contribute more and encourage people to talk about their journey.
Yes. Yes.
And it's not, like, so that not to, like, what you're doing, Charity, it's like to take out the shame or the guilt out of
Yes.
getting sick.
Yes.
Because sometimes people feel that getting sick is a curse.
Or it's their fault.
Yes. And it's like, it's never your fault. It's more of a thing that happens to you because you
Yes.
have to do and realize what is causing this to happen
Yes.
and address it, right? Like, whether it's a physiological thing or an emotional thing or a mental thing.
Yeah.
It's something that you need to address. And it's a call out from the universe saying, hey, there is something wrong in your life and try to address this thing
Yeah.
that's causing this.
And I think now, I remember our conversation when there was a phase when we were all finding our space.
Yes.
What space do you want
Yeah.
to serve in?
Yeah.
And a discussion that I had with Krysta was, because it was very obvious that wellness was a space she wanted to be in. And I also told her, you can help a lot of people who went through the same thing that you went through. So now parang I see the universe trying to carve a more redefined path for you as you now find parang that it serves your story, sharing the pains that you went through can also help other women, right? Because you're not the first person who went through this, but now because you are sharing what you have learned and that it's okay if life is not perfect, right? But I told you this, you continuously show up for people, I think, is the more important storyline that we need to focus. So I'm excited to how you will redefine yourself and your journey as a coach in this space. Now, we talked about manifestation and visualization. How does your life look out, a couple of years from now, from where you are, from what you already know? How does your future look like?
Yes.
How do you envision your career evolving, your health and your role as a mom, a friend, and as a professional evolving through all of this?
Coming here, actually, I was reflecting about how our conversation will be.
Yeah.
And it really went back to me like 2 years ago when I was also doing a workshop on my future self.
Yeah.
And I did it with a coach in UK. I remember we had this meditation, like your future self
Yeah.
meditation.
Wow.
And it's like me coming into a room. And the first thing that came to my mind was me in my workout clothes. Not even in my corporate clothes. Like me in my workout clothes, talking about wellness with women who are like-minded, who are working on themselves. And that was the future me. Like, I don't see myself in corporate clothes. I see myself in my athleisure wear, just being myself and comfortable with talking about my journey and how I encourage people to work on themselves as well. And I think that's really how we plant the seed, diba?
Yeah,
Kasi
yeah.
when we were like talking about like how we want to be our future selves, like you plant the seed and it grows.
Yeah.
And that was my desire. My passion is to really just to work on myself and how to encourage others to work on themselves too. And I think the certifications that we've been doing throughout the years, like we spend so much on ourselves,
Yes.
diba? So I did the life coaching certification with Vision and Mind Valley.
Yeah.
I also did my my coaching certification in Singapore with the ICF team. And then I did the Les Mills body pump. All these things are in my vision board.
Wow.
Like checking the boxes na, ticking the boxes. So I think in my next vision board, I would like to think how I can grow my community more.
That's good.
And how I can encourage people. I was telling this to Kimi because we have this session also on Slay, on how you
Yeah.
can show up
Yes.
for yourself and for others in the next coming months, moving towards the new year. And I said, I'm afraid to really talk about my manifestations kasi she will really push me. Like, she will really say, oh, gawin mo na yan. Oh my God.
Who is our major mother pusher?
Yes. So she will really push me. So I said, oh, I think I want to bring like a more of like a manifestival version to Singapore
Wow.
for my friends there.
Yeah.
Kasi parang when I talk to them, when they message me on WhatsApp or on Viber or on Instagram, they would like say, oh, so are we coming to this Halloween party? So I'm like, oh my God, like I was a party girl and you know this.
Yeah.
Sobra. I partied a lot. But now I realize, oh my gosh, how I can turn these people because I partied because I had this pain.
Yeah.
Diba? I partied, I drank myself to death because I wanted to heal that pain.
Yeah.
Diba? And I know that these girls and these guys that I party with in Singapore, they also have their own pain and trauma that they want to heal. But partying doesn't address that.
Wow.
Diba?
Yeah.
I think the inner work that we've done has really addressed that pain. And I want to bring that sort of practice to people that I meet in Singapore.
Yeah.
And Singapore is such a health buff nation, diba?
Yeah.
Everywhere, every stop, it's like Starbucks. You see every gym in one corner.
Wow.
And it's people addressing their pain through workout, through shopping, through eating. That's the nation that I'm in now. Or partying. So I think that, if you can do the inner healing and inner work, address that pain, a lot of people can be helped.
Wow, that's such a clear vision board, a much clearer version. It's like a 4.0 of what I would hear from you 2 years back. And, we've been taught this. Anything that you manifest very clearly happens. Everything starts with an idea. Yeah. Everything starts with a picture.
Just like this Better Day Center. Oh my God.
Want to be like, that's such a vivid picture of your future self. And I want to call it like a blueprint that you're setting yourself to do. And I want to share this with our audience because whether you are at the cusp of just being diagnosed, whether it's pre-cancer stage 1, 2, 3, 4, you still have the power to change the blueprint of your life. Yeah. I always encourage my cancer clients and patients to always have this clear picture of a healthier you.
Yes.
Because the moment you can imagine that and you can imprint it in your head, you can start telling your body that this is my healthy self. And one day I will wake up, not in the halls of hospitals, but in places where I want to be. And I think you being able to imagine bringing a new picture of health
Right.
and a new way to heal people's trauma
Yes.
is going to be a blessing to so many people.
Exactly.
And I guess this is why you were brought to Singapore. Everything has a reason.
Yes.
Krysta, this is such an empowering conversations we're having. I think you taught us that the things that happen in our lives, the not so good things, will find a way of making things better in our lives if we confront it, if we start taking care of it.
Yes.
And this is you really living your life, calibrating, and moving to a space where it totally resonates with you. There used to be a joke that Krysta would always tell us, oh, my corporate work funds
Yes.
my purpose in life.
Yes.
Right? Do you remember that story that
yes.
you would always say?
Yeah.
Not that she didn't appreciate what corporate life brings her, but she knows that it funds her bigger purpose in life, right? So
yeah, I always say that my day job is the investor to my dreams.
that's a good way of putting
that's
it.
why I wake up every day motivated to do my day job because it really funds my dreams, diba? If not for that, I wouldn't be living my life like this.
You won't be
my
able
lifestyle.
to afford business class.
And business class, oo. And I feel I'm really grateful when I talk to my bosses about it even. Like, I would say, I'm so grateful that you chose me to do this kind of work so that I could do the other work that I want to do, my passion of coaching people, helping people work on themselves, because I get to help them for free, right? Or I can do pro bono work because
for now,
pro bono
because, for now.
because I'm able to do and achieve my my dollars through the corporate work,
your day work,
my
your
day job. So
yeah.
so and then they're like, actually, I think that's the universe way of supporting my sales job.
Yes.
Because it allows me to also give back, diba? Kasi parang I can only close deals because I'm able to help other people also do the work.
Yes. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
Right? You are now at a crossroad of still being able to do work and being able to do your purpose.
Yes.
Who knows, one day, your purpose will fuel also the things in your life that you want to happen. Krysta, before we wrap up this episode, I want you first to talk about your manifestation book and tell our audience where they can buy the book. This is from Kimilu Publishing, right?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So, this is volume 2 already of the manifestation stories. So this volume 2 actually talks about this or something better.
This or something.
And it's so powerful because when you manifest something, right, like you go so giggle, you go hard on to achieve a goal or something in your life. And sometimes we feel that that's the only thing that we focus on. But if we let go, the universe leads you to a better path.
Yes.
And I think that story in the book, where all the other sacred space holders have contributed, my story there talks about how I uprooted my life in the Philippines to Singapore. And I manifested that in volume 1.
Wow.
Diba? And then in volume 2, that's where the plot twist actually happened. Because the plot twist was I got laid off 6 months.
I know that.
6 months in that job. And I had to work through the 3 months period of not having a job. And during that time, I actually always make my day job as my excuse. I said, I can't do my coaching because I had my day job. And then suddenly, the universe took away that day job.
For 3 months?
For 3 months. And then they gave me a hefty package. So what I did was to train for my...
in yourself further.
Yes, for my life coaching and my certified coaching with ICF already. And then I got to also spend some time by myself in El Nido for a vacation. But of course, I still applied for several jobs, and then I had like 60 job interviews in Singapore. And suddenly, I got the call of being rehired again on a boat trip in El Nido in my swimsuit. And, receiving that news that I got rehired. So I still maintain my job, status in Singapore. And it was really a miracle because the universe led me into that path.
Yes, yes.
Right?
And I remember Krysta sharing with me that she got the notice 6 months after she uprooted herself
Yeah.
via email.
Yes.
And she was really on the phone with me. She was frantic, but at the time she had the tools already. And I said, what do you want? Okay, so, this job turned out that, they needed to let go of some people. But I said, let's go back to what you want.
Yes.
And right there, Krysta said, I want to stay in Singapore. I said, then you have how much time do you have? And she said, like 3 months.
Yes.
So I can look for other jobs. I said, stay in Singapore because it's a regional hub. Most of the tech companies are there.
Yeah.
And that's what she did. But the universe, I think, has a way of altering your plans.
Yes.
So you can, because if that didn't happen, she won't find time to study.
Exactly.
Right?
I will always give that as an excuse because the night before I signed up for that course, diba? And then at 8 a.m. in the morning, the notices were served. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like the wake-up call that the universe was saying, okay, I'll take away your day job and
So
now
you-
do your certification. And then during the 3-month certification, I got my job back again. And I think that was the pause that I
Yes.
needed and the plot twist that I needed.
Grabe. Now I'm thinking about it. The universe has a way of really pausing you if it wants to redirect you to
Yes.
another path. Right?
Exactly.
So all these adjustments. So Manifestation Stories Volume 2
Volume 2.
is now available. You can follow Krysta on Instagram.
Yes.
Right? So if you want a copy of this book, you can get it from her.
Yes.
Because it's really a very good read. It's an easy read and
Right.
it's very inspiring. It has how many stories in it, Chris?
I think about 30 stories from what I remember. And it's all from people who have manifested their dreams. And how, the plot twist and the twists and turns into, a greater path for all of it.
So Manifestation Stories Volume 2.
Volume 2, yes.
And that brings to the end of this enlightening episode of the Life Doula Podcast. Today, we've had the privilege of hearing from Coach Krysta Rivera, a beacon of strength and transformation in the face of pre-cancer diagnosis. So just a couple of learnings from Krysta. Embrace change. Krysta's journey reminds us that embracing change, however daunting it is, often is the first step toward a personal growth. My God, that has been her life story. And healing. It's about allowing ourselves to reimagine what life can be post-diagnosis, as Krysta said, this or something better, right? Authenticity and vulnerability. Being a wellness coach and facing health challenges herself, Krysta highlighted the importance of being authentic, showing up, being vulnerable in her journey. This is such a powerful reminder that even in the roles of leadership, it's okay to be human and share our struggles. Community and support. Throughout our conversation, the significance of community emerged as a cornerstone in Krysta's journey. Surrounding oneself with supportive and understanding and like-minded people can be profoundly healing. New coping mechanisms, the ability to discover new coping mechanisms and support system is so crucial. Krysta shared how vital it was to be open to learning, to be open to reimagine her life, and implementing new ways to nurture herself, such as rest. And I mean the art of not doing anything. shift in perspective. Finally, Krysta's experience empowered her to redefine her wellness teachings, offering a fresh perspective to those she guides, illustrating that adversity can often amplify, in this case, her purpose. Krysta, thank you for sharing your incredible journey and insights with us. Your story is so inspiring, and even more inspiring now, it's a testament to the power of resilience and beauty of reimagining life throughout all the trials. Being vulnerable and sharing your story really gives power, as you said, to many people who are struggling to even share their diagnosis to friends and family, right?
Thank you, Cha.
So, to our community, remember to take these lessons to heart and see how they resonate within your own life. If you found today's episode to be meaningful, please subscribe, share, and leave us with a review. Until next time, continue to nurture your journey like Krysta with compassion and courage. Stay well and be kind to yourselves always.